Shalom. Before we begin this lesson, I want to give all honor, praise, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rachakwadash, for giving me the spirit to do this lesson. Lord willing, it's edifying to the elect. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well, the leaders of all Israelites in these end times, showing us the correct way to salvation. Shalom to you, Akwaf in order, meaning you Israelite sisters that are in order, and shalom to you brothers on highways and hedges teaching this gospel in all sincerity and in truth. Shalom to you speckled birds, you Israelite foreigners, you Israelites that have been scattered among these nations that look like these other nations. But your seed line goes back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, making you a Hebrew Israelite regardless of your color, because it ain't about color, it is about the chosen seed line. Shalom to you. Shalom means peace be unto you. All right. So this lesson will be titled Everybody Hates E. Just like that show, Everybody Hates Chris. Everybody hates E. E being Esau Edom. The biblical Edomites. Okay. The nation of Edom. Okay. The Bible speaks of 18 nations of people, the Edomites being the so-called white man, the Elamites being the so-called East Indians, and so on and so on. You have the Moabites, Ammonites, Ishmaelites. These are all biblical nationalities. You won't hear the terms white, black, Asian, so on and so on in the Bible. Okay. So when we say that everybody hates E, the whole world is turning on the Edomite. Because they ain't right. Okay. And the whole world is, they're a bit slow, but they're catching on, Everybody's starting to realize that this man is the problem. Okay. He's that elephant in the room that has to be addressed. You can't ignore this elephant, this gigantic elephant sat there in the room. Glowing pink, bright pink elephant, man. Okay. You cannot ignore these pink Edomites. They are the problem. Okay. Now, as you see in this image here, we used to be respected and shit. Because they like to poke fun at us, saying we was kings and shit, mocking us, right? When we really were. And we still are kings. Okay. And priests. And, we're special to the Lord, we're his chosen, and the Edomite are the lowest, okay? They're the villain, they're the ones the Lord hates, okay? Pursuant to Romans 9 and 13, all right? The Lord don't like these Edomites, and no one likes these Edomites, man. They're played out. Their time is up, man. They gotta go. Anyway, let me read this quick scripture right here since it's on the picture, right? Jeremiah 49 and 15, it says, "For lo, I will make thee small among the heathen and despised among men." So that's what the Lord has done to these Edomites. Who else do you think this fits? Some would say us, but yeah, we're hated in the world too. Okay, for now. Okay, because we're under curses, but those curses are soon getting ready to be lifted and be put upon the Edomite, okay? Now, you're starting to see the beginning phases of those curses hit the Edomite, but it's not going to fully set in until the Lord returns and sets this world right side up, because everything's upside down. You got the basest of men exalted, the vilest men, okay? And you have princes walking upon earth as slaves, as servants, and you have servants upon horses, man. Okay, the Edomite was born to be a servant. Okay, that's what he's meant to be. Okay, that's his rightful position. Okay, they're not royalty, they're not special, they're not nice, they're not beautiful, they're not kind, not helpful, they're not creative, they're not peaceful, they're wicked to the core, man. To the absolute core. I got a few clips I want to play. All right. Which inspired me to do this lesson. So first off, I want to bring out this one here. Let's just start with this one here.
Folks would have just left. If white folks would have just left everybody alone and went to Antarctica or Iceland or some crap, Greenland or some crap, to start your own America there, wouldn't nobody care. Don't nobody care if you want to have an all white America, but leave everybody else alone to have their own too. That's the problem that you seem to completely miss all throughout the current time and in history. Nobody gives a damn if you just leave everybody else alone. Do you understand that you are in the middle, you little pale skinned vampire? You are in the middle of every global conflict there has ever been. Every assassination, every coup. You are in the middle of all of the messy shit all the time. You are at the center of it. When people start investigating, oh, well, I wonder what happened here. I wonder who did this. I wonder how this came to be. Oh, lo and behold, look who's at the center of it, sitting in the damn middle of the room, in the middle of the mess, like a damn mischievous toddler, looking stupid in the face. White folks.
Yeah, Edomites. Okay, they ain't white. White means pure. There's nothing pure about them. They're actually black. Okay, they labeled us black, which means void of light, wicked, negative. You know, nothing good about the color black, but they labeled us black when really they should be labeled black. They're black. We're white. You know. Anyway, but as you can see in this short clip, everybody's fed up of this damn devil, man, and everything this guy said was on point. And we wouldn't have to make videos like this if you Edomites, you so-called white people, wasn't so damn evil. You're an evil race of people, man. There's something really seriously wrong with you people. But hey, us understand the truth. You know, everything's put into perspective for us, okay? Because the Bible tells us who you are and what you were created to be, and you're doing your job amazingly, okay? You're being the perfect devil, because that's what you was created to be. You weren't created to be in harmony with us, people on earth, these other races of people. You weren't created to be in harmony with us. You wasn't created to be creative, to be helpful. You were created to take peace from the earth and be absolutely wicked. That's your job, okay? That's why the Bible says that the wicked was created for the day of evil. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and bring that out. I wasn't gonna, but I'm gonna bring that out. So this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 16 and verse 4. It says, Yahweh, because the Lord in all caps is his name, which is Yahweh. Yahweh have made all things for himself, yea, even the wicked for the day of evil. So the Lord created a certain race of people for the day of evil, which were in that day of evil, and they're about to turn up. They're about to do exactly what the Lord created them for. But once their job is done, they're out of here. You can read that in the book of Obadiah, chapter 1 and verse 18. We have no use for you Edomites anymore. Soon come. All right, you people, as your time is expired, and we will not miss you. You Edomites will not be missed. Okay, the only thing we're gonna miss about you is when we're kicking your ass in the kingdom, man. Okay, when you're in slavery, that's the only thing we're gonna miss, is having you do everything for us, and us bully you, treat you, mistreat you. All right. Damn devils, man. No one likes you, E. All right, no one likes you, man. Let's turn to the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2 and verse 16. And it reads, it says, Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. And what that means, it says, Thou art filled with shame for glory. So there's one thing, one famous quote from one of the elites. I forget who it is, but he quoted that we should never have invented the internet because it's working against you. It isn't working in your favor, you know, to a certain degree it is. But a lot of your crimes of your past and current, crimes, as well, as far as the Epstein files and all that. But, a lot of things that you try to sweep under the rug, you try to cover up, you try to bury, it's all coming out, man. Okay? And that's because, this prophecy has to be fulfilled. How are the things of Esau searched up? How are his hidden things sought up? In the book of Obadiah, it speaks on that. And that's what's happening. And now you're filled with shame for glory, because really, to have such a lofty position, such as ruling the whole earth, which you stole, you should be lying in glory. But you people are full of shame for glory, okay? Because you didn't earn your position in this world fairly. You didn't earn it because you're just. The Lord put you there. The Lord put you there to fulfill biblical prophecy, ultimately to destroy you. He's got you lifted up in pride in your heart hard, just like Pharaoh, just so he can destroy you. Read Romans 9. Okay? So you're not special. And the whole world is soon going to realize that, all right? And they're starting to, as we speak. It says, thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. So when it says drink thou also, meaning you have to drink of the same cup that we drank. You're going to get double. Okay? So the cup that we drank is the cup of slavery. The cup of the curses, the judgments, that we had to endure. That's going to be passed on to you. It says, and let thy foreskin be uncovered, meaning you're exposed. If your foreskin's pulled back, you're all out there. You're all exposed. So that's what it means. It says, the cup of Yahweh's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory. Okay. So the cup is getting ready to turn to you, man. You Edomites. Okay. You're about to you're about to go through what we went through. Okay. And some. All right. It doesn't end well for you Edomites. If you read the book of Isaiah chapter 51, it also speaks about how, you're going to have to drink of that cup, But anyway, let's move on. I got another video I want to show you. Okay. Check this out.
One thing that I've always maintained is that just because a white woman has sex with black men or has black children doesn't mean that she isn't a fucking racist. And case in point is the Supreme Court Justice Amy Coney Barrett, who was one of the deciding votes in gutting the Voters' Rights Act after adopting 2 black fucking children. Do you guys know that there are a wide variety of countries who have made it illegal for Americans to adopt children from their country? Ethiopia, Cambodia, Vietnam, Russia, the Democratic Republic of Congo, China. All of them refuse to let, more specifically, white people from the United States of America adopt their children, primarily because they're worried about the child's welfare. Putin years ago said that the United States of America was a bunch of fucking pedophiles. He put a halt on that shit a long fucking time ago. So did China, right? People will actually not allow. They will let parentless children live in a fucking orphanage before they'll send them to the homes of white Americans. And somebody had asked me in my comment the other day, they're like, why is it always white people in America? Because it's always white people in America. It's not all white people, but it's always fucking white people. And Statistically speaking, majority of domestic terrorism, right, that we're talking about when it comes to mass shootings, school shootings, serial killers and serial rapists are white men. Then when you talk about crime inside the home, women being murdered by their husbands or little girls getting molested by their father, that majority falls on white men. When you're talking about white collar crime, tax evasion, corporate espionage, majority of that is white men. And I know what you guys are going to say. That's because majority of the population in the United States is white men. No, it's not. No, it's not. And even if we boil it down to crimes per capita, there is still an overwhelming amount of statistical data that proves majority of crime that happens in the United States happens because of white men. So when you're asking me, why are you always lashing out at white people? As a white person, it is my job to publicly hold them accountable for their fucking behavior, because silence is compliance. I'm not going to be quiet about the people who ruin the nation that I leave behind in my fucking children simply because we share the same fucking skin color. Fuck that, and fuck you. You want to know what's wrong with the United States of...
She said because we share the same skin color. I believe she thinks that she's an Edomite. I don't think she is, though. I've seen a couple of her videos, and I see her spirit. And I believe she's a Jake. I truly do. She's loud like a Jake woman, like a Latina woman. I believe she's probably a Latina. Okay. I could be wrong, but she strikes me as a Jake. I just thought I'd throw that out there. Anyway, let me go ahead and finish it up because it's almost up. And then, I'm going to speak on it.
America, white privilege, white pride, white supremacy, white. That's the fucking problem. That's where all these problems come from. It all boils down to one common denominator, the white supremacist movement. It is terrorizing the United States and the entire fucking world.
See, the world is fed up, and people are speaking up now. A lot of people have been cowards, don't want to be, politically incorrect. They want to watch what they say, and they don't want to offend nobody. And it's like, everybody, you have to, okay? Everybody's getting to the point now where they're realizing they have to speak up. They have to say something because that elephant needs to be addressed. That elephant in the room has to be pointed out, man. Okay? Because the world is suffering. Everybody's suffering. Everybody's going to die under this man's rule. If he's not stopped, if something ain't done. And the Lord the Bible says what's going to happen. The Lord already knows that this man is the villain of the whole world. He's done too much. He's done so much in the earth. Why would it not be in the Bible, man? Why would the Lord not mention that in the Holy Scriptures? You people need to wake the hell up, man, and smell the coffee and realize what the hell is going on. Okay, because Esau is the cancer of the earth. All right? And he cannot be fixed. There ain't no fixing this devil. Let's jump up a bit. This is Habakkuk 2 and 4. It says, "Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith." And that him is talking about Esau, man. This whole Bible's about Jacob and Esau, if you didn't know. Okay, Christianity has left you Christians in the dark, man. Okay, and you refuse to wake up. Ultimately, it's not your choice to wake up. The Lord has to wake you up. But there's a lot of you that the Lord just don't have. Well, I'd say most of you, the Lord hasn't had favor on you. He hasn't had mercy on you. Okay. And that's what it all boils down to, because if you can't see by now that this man is the Edomite of the Bible and that the Hebrew Israelites have been right about what they've been saying, then you're just blinded, and the Lord has blinded you. Okay, because it's so plain for a lot of us to see. Very plain for us to see, man. It don't take much researching to find out that this man is just the problem. All right, let's turn to the book. Anyway, actually, before I do, let me break this down a bit. Not that it needs much breaking down, but I just wanted to read verse 4. So Habakkuk 2 and 4. "Behold, his soul, Edomite soul, which is lifted up, they're lifted up in pride because they're a proud nation of people." Read Psalm 73. They wear it like a chain, man. It says, behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him. These people are not upright. They're evil. It says, but the just shall live by his faith. These people don't live by faith. Okay? Because to live by faith means you're upright. But these people aren't upright. They're carnal. They're wicked. They're ungodly. Like I said, read Psalm 73. It describes these these Edomites to a T. But where was I gonna turn to now? I forgot. I believe it's all right. So this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 13 and verse 23. It says, can the Ethiopian change his skin, or the leopard his spots? Then may ye also do good that are accustomed to do evil. These people were created to be evil, okay? And they don't know how to be good. And they will never be good. Okay? It's just not in them. The Lord created all things for himself. Yeah, even the wicked for the day of evil, just like I brought out earlier, man. They were created to be the wicked. The earth was given into the hand of the wicked. Job 9:24, man. They can't be fixed. They were created to be wicked. Okay? Now, I'm not saying every single Edomite, doesn't have the ability to show kindness, because at times an Edomite can have a laugh with you. They can be tolerable at times. It's a shame I even got to say that, but sometimes they can be tolerable. Imagine somebody saying about an entire race that sometimes some of them can be tolerable. That's shameful, man. That's some shameful spirit. Sometimes you can be tolerable. That's a damn shame, but it's the truth. Sometimes you have the odd Edomite. There can be a laugh. But you're still going into captivity as a nation, okay? Your whole nation, man. It's over for the Edomite. Anyway. So, can an Ethiopian change his skin? Absolutely not. Or a leopard his spots? No, they were created with spots. It says, then may ye also do good that are accustomed to doing evil. Now check the Edomite track record, man. What has it been? Nothing but evil, 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 wickedness, wickedness, wickedness. And they're accustomed to doing that. And they're never going to change. This is what this scripture is saying. These people are unchangeable. They're unfixable, man. Okay. Let's actually further prove that. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 26 and verse 10. It says, let favor be showed to the wicked. The wicked is the Edomite. Let favor be showed to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. See? It don't matter how nice you treat these devils. They own the whole world, and it's still not enough. The Lord has shown favor to them. Not that he favors them, but he's blessed them. Let favor be showed to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. What more do you want from me? I feel like Tyrese. What more do you want from me? You know what I mean? This man has everything, but it's still not enough. He wants to shake you upside down, make sure every little penny drops out your pocket. And then enslave you forever. Let favor be shown to the wicked, yet will he not learn righteousness. Okay? These people cannot learn righteousness. They're just wicked. It says in the land of uprightness, which is, the land of Israel and Palestine, that region. It says, in the land of uprightness will he deal unjustly. So what are they doing to the Palestinians and the Lebanese? and the Iranians, all in that region. In the land of uprightness, he will deal unjustly, stealing land, bulldozing homes, terrorizing people. Man, these people gotta go. Not to mention the fact that Tel Aviv is the GAY capital of the earth, with annual GAY parade. Unjustly, man, he's dealing unjustly in the land of uprightness. It says, and will not behold the majesty of Yahweh. See, because they don't care about the Lord. The Lord is not in all their thoughts. They hate the Lord, man. Let's turn to the book of Job, chapter 20. We're going to wrap this up in a minute. And I want to read from verse 4. Job 20 and 4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is sure? These people are winning right now. They're triumphing. Okay, they're stealing land, gotten away with it for so long. And they actually call America theirs. They say, get out of our country. It's not your country. As a matter of fact, if you Edomites are not in the caves of Petra in Jordan, then anywhere you're living outside of that, you stole. And that's the truth, okay? Because you had your portion, but it wasn't good enough. You wanted everybody else's too. And a man like that has got to go, okay? And you will go, okay? Because there cannot be no kingdom of heaven with you in it. Because you don't know how to live in peace with people, in harmony. You don't know how to share. You're like that kid that don't share his toys. You're the problem, man. You gotta go. You're that guy that no one wants over their house. No one wants to keep company with you, okay? You walk in the room, it gets awkward. You know, everyone's having a good time, then you show up. That's the Edomite. Anyway, it says in verse 5 that I'm going to start again, verse 4, Job 20 and 4. Knowest thou not this of old, since man was placed upon earth, that the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite but for a moment? See? So their triumphing is short because it's almost over. Okay, the Lord about to take them out of power and put the so-called black, Latino, and Native American in power. Okay, thus saith the Lord. And that's it, forever, okay? And the world's going to be in harmony, okay? The world going to be in peace. You might as well say that we're the saviors of the earth. You know, ultimately, Yahweh Shai is the savior of the earth. Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai. But he's going to exalt his people and have us be judges and rulers over the earth, okay? And we're going to enforce the law with an iron rod. And therefore, it's going to bring peace on earth, okay? So everything that people want and desire in this earth, the peace, no more war, all that's coming from the people that they love to hate. All right. It says in verse 6, though his excellency mount up to the heavens, and his head reach unto the clouds, right, due to his pride, it says, yet he shall perish forever like his own dung. They which have seen him shall say, where is he? See, because the Edomite is almost out of here, man. They are a temporary citizen of earth. They weren't meant to be here forever. Okay, and this is something that a lot of people just can't wrap their head around because they've always known the so-called white man being around them. But there's coming a day where you won't have to see these people anymore. What a day that will be, man. It says in verse 8, he shall fly away as a dream and shall not be found. Yeah, he shall be chased away as a vision of the night. And the world is chasing him away now. Okay, history repeats itself. And we chased him into the caves. Read Job chapter 30. We chased him off to the caves of the Caucasus Mountains in Georgia, Russia. Okay, we chased them away because they were the wild man. Okay, check the history on the wild man. They were the wild man. Okay. They were nasty, disgusting, base. They were low. They were the worst nation on earth. And they still are, okay? They're just a cleaned up version of the wild man now. But they're still wicked. and perverse. Okay. But, you know, as we chase them away to the caves, this time we're going to chase them off the earth. And it's sort of the process has already begun because the whole world is looking at you Edomites now, man. And our eyes are not going to come off of you, okay, until the day the Lord shows up. We got you in the scopeo, Esau. It says in verse 9, the eye also which saw him shall see him no more. I can't wait for that. I can't wait to not see these people walking past my kitchen window, walking their damn dog all day, every day. That's all they do. Sick of them, man. Every Edomite out there has a dog. They're obsessed with them. And you know what they're doing behind closed doors with them dogs. Bunch of freaks and weirdos, man. They ain't upright. It says, the eye also which saw him shall see him no more. You can read Obadiah 1 and 18. It says, neither shall his place any more behold him. See, which is his rulership. Okay, because they're going to be cast out of heaven like lightning, man. Okay. It says, his children shall seek to please the poor, and his hands shall restore their goods. You know, everything that they've stolen, they're going to restore that and some. Okay. Everything they stole, they give him back. So let them enjoy it. Let them enjoy what they stole, because the triumphing of the wicked is short, and the joy of the hypocrite, the same people, the Edomite, but for a moment. Get out of our country. How you gonna steal our country when you stole America, man? The hell, these hypocrites. Anyway, verse 11, it says, his bones are full of sin of his youth, which shall lie down with him in the dust. You know, these people they've built up a hell of a tab. You know, all the wickedness that they haven't paid for, man. It's going to lie down with them in the dust, okay? Meaning they're going to have a crap legacy after all is said and done. When these people are taken off the earth, okay, it just goes into their shameful spewing. They're going to have a crap legacy. Okay, the sin of their youth is going to go down with them to the grave. It says, though wickedness be sweet in his mouth, though he hide it under his tongue, right? Because these people love wickedness, man. It's sweet in their mouth. Okay, because under their rule, they could stop world hunger. They could stop child trafficking. They could stop wars, but they don't want to, because wickedness is sweet in his mouth. Though he hide it under his tongue, right? He hides it under his tongue. They pretend like they're good. They come as an angel of light, like they're always trying to bring peace to the earth. You know, we're trying to stop global warming when you're the reason for it. You know, though he hide it under his tongue, it says, though he spare it and forsake it not, but still keep it within his mouth, okay, because he will never change. It says, yet his meat in his bowels is turned. It is the gall of asps within him. It says, he have swallowed down riches, and he shall vomit them up again. The Most High shall cast them out of his belly. See, everything you've taken, you've stolen, you're giving back. You're going to spew it up. It says, he shall suck the poison of asps. The viper's tongue shall slay him. He shall not see the rivers, the floods, the brooks of honey and butter. Okay, because you're not going to be in the kingdom. You're only going to be there as a slave until your 1,000-year sentence is up. Okay, and then it's bonfire time. It says in verse 18, that which he labored for shall he restore, and shall not swallow it down. So everything you've stolen, everything you've worked for, you're gonna restore. Okay, America's gonna be destroyed. All the other lands that you live in, you're coming out of, and you're giving it back. It says, according to his substance shall the restitution be, and he shall not rejoice therein. So you ain't gonna be happy when you have to give everything back to everyone you stole. And you ain't got a choice, because it's written, okay? It's going to come to pass. And ain't nothing you could do about it. Verse 19, because ye have oppressed and have forsaken the poor. The poor is us, the Israelites, the so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans, okay? It's not just talking about poor people as a whole. although he's oppressed everyone. But it's talking about us, the Israelites. We're the poor that the Bible's talking about. It says, because you have oppressed and forsaken the poor. See, you oppressed the hell out of us. You've been the author of all mischief against the Hebrews, the Bible says. Okay. And you're going to have to pay for that. You're going to have to pay for that. You're not going to escape the hands of the Lord, man. Because he have oppressed and forsaken the poor. He forsook us. Okay, he didn't do anything to help us, man. Anything to help our condition. Okay, what did we do to you? You stole us from the west coast of Africa, scattered us around the world, mainly in America, mistreated us, and then after you done using us to build up your kingdom, build up America, then you don't want to, you don't want to do anything to help the condition of us, You've forsaken the poor. It says, because ye have violently taken away a house which ye builded not. See? So they take away people's land, take away people's homes. It says, surely he shall not feel quietness in his belly, okay, because shameful spewing is on your glory. It says, he shall not save of that which he desired, which is his new world order, okay? It's going to fail. It says, there shall none of his meat be left, therefore no man shall look for his goods. In the fullness of his sufficiency, he shall be in straits. So right now at the peak of his kingdom, he's in a position of difficulty. Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him, and the wicked is going into the laborer, our mall. Okay, let's see if we can pull that up real quick in the blue letter. Right, got it on deck. Every hand of the wicked. Where is it? What's happened there? Every hand of the wicked shall come upon him. Let's just prove that this word wicked, or mal, is not the same as other words that mention the wicked, like Job 9:24. This one, it goes into laborer, sufferer, workman. Okay. Now, you also have wicked people, as in wretched ones, but this one is specifically talking about the workman, the sufferer, the laborer. It says toiling. The working class, the people that are paying their taxes, the citizens, man. Okay? Every hand of the taxpayer is coming upon you, devils, man. Even your own people are coming against you. The elites. Because you're just wicked, okay? And all you do is lie, gaslight, and self-deflect, and project, onto others and stuff, man. You people are wicked as hell. It says, so every hand of the wicked shall come upon him, right? And that's what's happening now. That's why I'm doing this lesson, to highlight this. Everyone's coming against this devil, man. It says, when he is about to fill his belly, right, which means achieve their new world order agenda by microchipping the whole population. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So while he's implementing his new world order system, that's him eating. The Lord gonna rain them nukes on him, man. Okay, because World War III is gonna reach its peak during that time. This is the time. This is the prophetic timeline. That's why we lean upon prophecy to know what time it is, man. This is how we measure the time diligently, through prophecy. It says in verse 24, he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bow of steel shall strike him through. It is drawn and cometh out of the body. Yeah, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. Terrors are upon him. Okay, the bow of steel is the ICBM nuclear weapons, nuclear missiles. It says it is drawn, cometh out of the body. Yeah, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall. That's talking about the weapon silos, the missile silos. It says terrors are upon him, okay, because these people are shook. That's why they built these underground bases, underground bunkers, because they know that day is coming. It says, all darkness shall be hidden in secret places. A fire not blown shall consume him. It shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. So the Edomite is getting ready to be consumed by these nukes. All right. Verse 27, the heaven shall reveal his iniquity, which the heaven goes into the satellites, meaning the internet. Okay, the internet is revealing this man's iniquity, hence the reason why I'm doing this lesson. And you got that quote, like I said earlier, by that elite member, so-called elite, saying that we should never have invented the internet because they knew that it would work against them. They got too much crimes that they need to hide, and they knew that one day it would backfire on them. It says the heaven shall reveal his iniquity and the earth shall rise up against him. Okay, so the people of the earth are rising up against the so-called white man, these devils. And it says the earth shall rise up against him, meaning the earth itself. Okay, this is why you got all kind of weather disasters and earthquakes and stuff like that, because this man is ruling and the earth itself ain't happy. Okay, it's rising up against him. It says the increase of his house shall depart, and his goods shall flow away in the day of his wrath. Okay, so everything this man has is getting ready to be stripped from him. It says in verse 29, this is the portion of a wicked man from the Most High. Okay, so the Lord, and you can't say these people aren't wicked. So this is what they can expect. This is their portion. It says in the heritage appointed unto him by the Most High. So it's written in stone. This is what's going to happen. Thus saith the Lord, and there's nothing you can do about it, Esau. You're through. All right. Let's go back to this video, because this girl right here, right, and there's one part she's talking about statistics is always white men, okay, that commit such and such an act or whatever she was saying, right?
And somebody had asked me in my comment the other day, they're like, why is it always white people in America? Because it's always white people in America. It's not all white people, but it's always fucking white people. And you, like, statistically speaking, majority of domestic terrorism, right, that we're talking about when it comes to mass shootings, school shootings, serial killers and serial rapists are white men. Then when you talk about crime inside the home, women being murdered by their husbands or little girls getting molested by their father, that majority falls on white men. When you're talking about white collar crime, tax evasion, corporate espionage, majority of that is white men. And I know what you guys are going to say. That's because majority of the population in the United States is white men. No, it's not. No, it's not. And even if we boil it down to crimes per capita, there is still an overwhelming amount of statistical data that proves majority of crime that happens in the United States happens because of white men. So when you're asking me, why are you always lashing out at white people? As a white person, it is my job to publicly hold them accountable for their fucking behavior, because silence is compliance. I'm not going to be quiet about the people who ruin the nation that I leave behind in my fucking children simply because we share the same fucking skin color. Fuck that, and fuck you.
So on top of that, I want to show you another quick clip, okay, just to further back up them statistics. Check this out.
They come to our country and they rape our women. Are they? Are they? This is a list of convicted rapists from 2011 to 2018. Rape of a female aged 18 and under, majority white. 16 and over, majority white. In fact, every single list, majority white. Under 13, majority white. Again, if you look at every single category on that list, every single person is majority white. All of my abusers, guess what colour they were? They're all white. Every single fucking one of them. So maybe we should stop blaming ethnicity groups coming to the UK seeking refuge from a country that's unsafe for them being the problem for violence against women. This is coming from a domestic abuse victim. Victim of rape. Victim of sexual assault. Reform does my head in.
So you see what I'm saying? You know, Esau's the problem, man. And the whole world is tired of you devils, man. Okay? You know, the statistics don't lie. Numbers don't lie. And the statistics, you always like to say that so-called black people are the violent ones and Asians are all the grooming gangs this, grooming gangs that, and the foreigners and the Muslims, then they're eating the cats, they're eating the dogs, they're eating the geese. Whatever, man. That's just you projecting and pointing the finger at others to deflect from the fact that you single-handedly have screwed up the whole world, okay? And no one's happy because of you, okay? And that's what it all comes down to, man. The Edomite is the problem, and they have got to go, and they will go. You know, and like I said, you will not be missed. I'm gonna close it out with this one right here. Look at that. Save me from Esau. These people are destroying the earth. In fact, let's quickly jump to the book of Revelations. I'm gonna read this real quick. So Revelations 11 and 18. It says, and the nations were angry, right? So all these nations are angry. Why? Because this man didn't come up and destabilize their countries, bomb their countries, just kicking an anthill, man, stirring up an anthill everywhere he goes, causing problems. What you think the nations are angry because, you know, people are committing EBT fraud? You think that's the reason the nations are angry? You know, don't get me wrong, Jake can be a problem. You know, sometimes in certain areas, but we ain't going around spraying the sky with chemtrails, poisoning your food and water and your air, you know, stealing resources and murdering and committing genocide. We ain't doing all that. That's you, okay? That's why it says, and the nations were angry and thy wrath is come. You know, this is talking about the day of the Lord. And right now the nations are angry, so we know this day is coming soon. That wrath is coming soon. It says in the time of the dead that they should be judged. It says and that thou should give reward unto thy servants the prophets, and to the saints, and to them that fear thy name, small and great. So everyone going to receive their rewards, whether good or bad, when the Lord comes, right? Because the wages of sin is death. So all sinners are going to die, and the prophets are going to be given a prophet's reward. Okay. It says, and should destroy them which destroy the earth. Okay. So the people destroying the earth are the Edomites, because it's given into their hand. Okay. They're the ones that came to take peace from the earth. They are that red horse. All right. So the earth needs to be saved from this devil, man. Save me from Esau. Look, it looks terrified. And why is that? Because this is how you ruin a planet, man. Sprinkle a couple devils and it's a wrap. You know? Save me from Esau. So anyway, like I said, I'm going to close it out with this clip right here. And Lord willing, you've been edified by this lesson. I came across this one today. Check it out. Shalom.
Like I've said many times, the collective global South has recognized that predators, which is what they are, which is what the West is, are actually incredibly simple actors to understand. They're incredibly simple. Their motivations are shallow, easily legible. It's literally as straightforward as what drives a wolf to attack a herd of sheep. It's not complex. It's very easy to understand. And that wolf is always going to act like a wolf. The predator is always going to act like a predator. So you need to understand their thinking. The global South has learned that a wolf is basically tame as long as his belly is full. That's their whole ideology. That's a wolf's whole ideology. Do you understand me? That's why every global South country, from China to Saudi Arabia, they have understood that you are dealing, essentially, when you're dealing with the West, you're dealing with a protection racket. You're dealing with an extortion racket. Pay them off and they'll leave you alone. Listen to me. They can talk whatever they want to talk. You know, when they talk about why this or that nation is bad, why this or that country is bad, this or that leader is bad, or what have you. Okay, they'll say they're undemocratic. They violate human rights. They pose a threat to our national security, on and on and on. They're, sponsors of terrorism. They're extremists or whatnot. We don't like them because they oppress women. We don't like them because they're this kind of bad or that kind of bad or whatever kind of bad we want to come up with today. But the only thing that they're actually doing, when they say all of that is asking for a bribe. I'm telling you, they're just asking for a bribe. They don't believe in anything. Understand this. They don't believe in anything. They're predators, not believers. They're parasites, not patriots. So you have to understand that mentality. They don't actually hate on the basis of color, on the basis of race or ethnicity or even ideology. They hate on the basis of their own inadequacy. If you have what they don't have, they hate you. If you are what they cannot be, they'll hate you. If you can do what they can't do, they'll hate you. But they'll never say that that's the reason that they hate you. They'll never come out and say it. They'll cloak it in all sorts of nonsense about race or about culture or about faith or about principles or what have you. They'll never come right out and say the real reason. I told you they're marauders. And this is why I told you they're marauders. They're scavengers. This is what they were 10,000 years ago, and that's what they are today. That's what they will be 10,000 years from now. Understand that mentality. Hunters and gatherers. Hunters and gatherers, yes, not builders, not creators, not people who develop, not people who advance, not people who grow. Listen to me, because you need to understand the mindset of people like that. You have to understand the mindset of people like that. You understand? Constant, continuous, perpetual acquisition of resources. That's the only thing they have in their mind. You understand? That means it's a constant, continuous, perpetual state of panic. They're in a constant, perpetual state of panic, of insecurity, of precarity. Understand? They didn't put chains on you to keep you down. They put chains on you to keep you close, to keep you near, because they're terrified that you can make it without them, precisely because they know that they cannot make it without you.